Meet one of my newest creations, the Janissary Firing Squad. This squad is solely built for one purpose: shoot anything before it reaches the firing line and never let anyone close enough to take damage. So the idea is, you can't lose a game because you can put 4 marksmen with guns on top of an archway or something similar, and if you make sure to fill it up entirely, nobody can climb up. Of course, I can only have 5 marksmen, which is sad, as I can't add more guns, but a little DLC brought just the thing I needed. For under €2, the smuggler was just perfect. This will also help you get more guns, as you can hire some for free and just mug the gun right off them. Of course, the veteran system also allows you to get a gunsmith contact for your essentials. The smuggler on higher level will add 2 more shots, and my chief smuggler has a handgun, which looks way too large for a handgun, but does insane damage. Currently with 7 action points, she alone shreds anything. I am thinking how to build this one up, but may turn some into heroes themselves just to get them going. For normal henchmen, even if you're level 10, you can't get enough offensive points to shoot a gun twice, but luckily they come with a very good ratio called sniper shot. Which means they may not be able to shoot twice, but their one shot will do a lot more damage and will hit mostly all of the times. But those guys do need accuracy to level 6 to get the skill, so this may early on be a bit detrimental for your hit chance and damage output. You don't have to hurry, however, because they will need 5 reds as well, and it means they need to be level 6 themselves as well before they can even use the sniper shot. The key remains to get decisive victories, which will be a bit harder with an immobile squad, but pretty easy if you take the right missions. Decisive victories will be gained when completing the bonus objective, and wrong missions will put you dab in the middle of a very melee focused enemy and you'd be sitting ducks without a good frontline. Early on, decisive missions will also just give consumables, albeit worth some money, not really essential to grow stronger. Decisive victories are so worth it, however, to level your squad incredibly fast, especially when you take hard missions or above. Since the enemy will usually not be at you all at once, you should be more than capable of handling hard missions. Just make sure you don't start near the enemy at all times. After a few missions and the first story missions, the first blue items can be looted. And not being able to loot their captain as they rout out of action will be pure tears, but time will heal all wounds. Stacking ballistic skill and leadership is of course the key to make sure that even when the heroes and captain all die, the team remains strong. Since at least 2 heroes are smugglers, this is unlikely to happen as they are also somewhere up there to shoot down the enemy. They can very quickly shoot twice, which is great, but are often sent out to explore or get loot since they are a lot faster. So more than likely run into predicamental situations from time to time. For physical, it's just sacking dodge in the form of agility, and the smugglers will eventually also get 9 intelligence for the 2nd rank of knowledge tactics, as this is one of the best passives in game. This bunch of shooting good for nothings absolutely make every battle a joke. They can't be reached when positioned together and filling up spaces, and they pump even captains full of lead before they come into melee range. And even if they do, we also have a small frontline waiting, and even if that has to retreat, I can simply swap weapons with my bizarre high dodge smugglers, and they absolutely finish the job. I promoted one of the marksmen to hero using the Lad Got Talent perk. I wanted to test something, and you can only have 5 of each type of henchman. Unfortunately, making one a hero didn't enable me to get another one. But having a marksman with 6 offensive points enabling him to shoot twice, of course, so that kinda gets the job done as well. Since I added a higher sword in the hero spot for a few matches already, he can just now stay in the henchman slot for good to protect all them pretty Janissaries. For heroes, you can only have 2 of each type, which fills me with great sadness as I have no idea yet what to put there. But for now the squire will do until I have enough money for a decent higher sword hero. We're gonna skip the first 2 acts as they are very easy, but the first seriously hard act is the 3rd one, called Bookworms, and is located in the Mordheim library. The first room is very important. There will be a yellow teleporter which will bring you straight to the boss, the Curator. You can ambush him and just murder it without any risk. It will drop an epic enchanted staff, unless you kill it without engaging, then it will drop nothing. Behind the boss you can jump down, but it will be incredibly stupid as a demon spawn from hell overpowered piece of fire is waiting for you. However, if someone dies it will move, provided it has been seen or shot. So you can, theoretically, just set up a trap in the first room and wait for it to show up to welcome it with a lead party. If you do decide you're strong enough, you can face the demon head on, but from another room a pink horror will move to a room next to the demon room and will start doing massive AoE attacks on you. After you dispose of the demon, there are 3 levels of floors you can shoot the pink horror from, which makes it rather easy to just post 1 or 2 marksmen there and shoot it whenever it goes to that position. Then step back a bit so it cannot target you. The pink horror will turn into the 2 blue horrors, which are just shooting targets. In the first room there is also a pink teleporter, which will get you 2 floors below the horror to just get some loot. Also in the first room we have a little hallway going up, and the green teleporter will just get you some loot, and the blue teleporter will finally bring you to the main teleporter room, and the horror will be here if you didn't trigger the demon yet. There, and also where the demon was, you will see a warded grimoire. Don't touch it, don't come near it unless you found a ward wand to break the ward. Then we have the demonette, which will be your biggest obstacle. Gather all people in front of the white, yellow, brown teleporter, the lightest one of them all, and make sure you have a tank available or a good dodger, and get everyone in and start shooting in Overwatch, while someone guards the narrow plank bridge. She will do 3 massive AoE attacks and also charm you before, so dodging in hindsight wasn't an option. Maybe best to keep Luther for this, unless he tanked the demon, and you should be able to kill it in 1 turn. The last monster is the Plague Bearer, which is really easy to kill if you go from the floor where the pink horror went after you trigger the demon, or through the light blue portal in the main teleporter room. Don't go through the pink teleport halfway the corridor if you don't want to die, as he is worse to kill than the demon, due to his massive AoE stench of Nurgle, and that completely wipes out your offensive points. Green and dark yellow are safe again in the main teleporter room. Besides the 3 grimoires, you need to loot from the warded pedestals. Also make sure to get the skilling grimoires, there's 1 of each type, which you can sell for 140 or use them to get a boost on one of you guys with 3 points in the chosen category. Do the latter actually, because you don't need the money and the points are really strong. After a while I could get an impressive, but I really didn't want to waste 2 hero spots on a hunk of meat, but I decided to try on match. My first brutal mission, which mostly was brutal because I brought a level 0 impressive instead of 2 level 6 or 7 heroes. And I was on disadvantage. The enemy spawned on top of the weird stone and I couldn't get to it. I decided to go around and set up a fortified position near a large house in the middle and create the immortal setup using 4 marksmen on the gatehouse. I was a bit worried as the enemy was clustered together. Well, funny thing happened, and it's very rare, but the enemy Skaven Warband was fighting a neutral impressive. Which was weird as you'd think it'd be theirs, but that one showed up when I was ready to give them their final blow. Thanks to the neutral mob, they were well wounded when they were ready for me. Another match went perfectly flawless, where again a large building in the Nobles Quarter was the perfect hideout. While we rained fire on the enemy, they had no choice but to run a small stair to get to me, where a few marksmen and my captain finished them off. I used the Priest of Ulrich as a filler, as they can really enhance your frontline. With their spells they can, for example, imbue one of your soldiers to debuff the enemy hit chance and damage, causing a frontline to be even more unbreakable. Unfortunately the quest was impossible for this one, as the 3 Sigma tokens I needed were the 3 guys who didn't show up. Only after I stalled as long as possible, but their morale was completely gone by the time I attacked the last one, and I couldn't keep the others alive any longer. And it keeps just going like this, but the main problem and the most annoying thing is preventing you from getting bonus objective is that horrible morale. For example, I did the run, I got their idol, I'm almost home, and just something runs into a trap, or you put it on an overwatch where you shouldn't, and that one enemy too many dies and they rout. The last campaign of Act 1 is both incredibly hard and incredibly easy, depending on how you play it. Destroy 4 cranes, find 7 Weirdstone shipments, and kill a very tanky ogre. The first part is easy, but after you get to the ogre you have killed most of the heroes and an endless chain of henchmen will spawn, 2 each turn, 1 from both sides. Whatever you do, just don't go down there. Position your marksmen all on the top floor and just throw oil bombs. You will find plenty in the level in the chests and keep shooting that ogre. While your frontline protects the stairs, very easy that way. Engaging the ogre will be the hard method and will surely cost you some men, so don't. Just rush some fast heroes to the back and get to the furthest crane, and you can climb that tower to find both more loot and stop that side from spawning. My best guys are nearly level 10 already, and that in only 28 missions. This is mainly because many of the missions were decisive victories, giving me 3 extra experience per match. The Warband is only level 7 at this point, but no losses of course, that's almost impossible. I have 2 problems. My marksman hero is almost level 10. And I pray he gets 2 more mental advancements, because else I can't upgrade the Let's Go Talent perk and he will be a wasted hero spot. It requires 9 intelligence, a bit impulsive when I hero fight him. Of course, the Bookworm mission did give me a grimoire to boost mental, but I gave that to the Priest of Ulrich, who died, and Frontline is expendable, and bringing a level 1 to a level 8 fight wasn't the best idea. The other problem is bad luck. My gun contact still hasn't given me any high quality gun, just normal garbage so far, despite my Warband being high level already, nor did the store refresh properly. That means all Janissaries still have the beginner guns, and they really start to fall off a bit in comparison to the toughness of the enemy. Added to that, everyone needs a gun, but the enemy rarely has a smuggler, and even more rarely drop the gun it's holding, so this is by far the biggest weakness of my Immortal squad at the moment. Luckily, at the next market refresh I could buy an epic handgun, which means both smugglers at least have a good weapon. The handguns have less range, but with the armor absorption do tons of damage, especially on armor targets. Specifically, the epic gun can do up to 75 damage per shot now. Several Weirdstone shipments also give me 2k gold to continuously upgrade skills, and I spent 4 days just training. Halfway the first campaign of Act 2 is unlocked, and with a warband of 6262 rating, the 2000 rating required seems to be decent. Not all goes well, of course. Anytime you start too close to the enemy always backfires one way or another, and even resulting in losing a smuggler to the Skaven, who showed remarkable teamwork and poison capabilities. But especially the smuggler trap is proving to be insanely powerful. When I run into a full ranged resistance, impressive. Showing a painful weakness of my warband, I did however manage to stun her and kill her in one round, proving that if needed I can throw out a great deal of melee damage as well. The first campaign of Act 2 was actually remarkably easy and finally got me on track with the firearms being better quality. With 2 rares and 1 epic handgun and 1 rare hunting rifle, my damage increased a lot. Sometimes situations occur that just cannot be controlled. As much as I try to pick safe maps, if the map is very small and the enemy impressive is instantly at your janissary, you might lose someone. Luckily at detector level 0 I want to train. All I could do is run to the nearest building, get everyone in, use traps to block the entrances, and make sure all climbable places are obstructed by placing people there. My impressive just had to move away since it didn't fit. Unfairly, the enemy impressive did fit through the door and didn't get stunned, so my henchman, of which I was extremely proud, as it already has done great things, had to suddenly fight for his life. He tanked 2 rounds from an impressive, losing barely 100 health, and later another hero. The fight went smoothly and even had time to do the bonus objective. I also had a high level marksman, which I instantly upgraded to Lead Got Talent rank 2. This will grant you extra skill points and they are all free, so a level 7, which I bought for a bit over 800 gold, can train up to 14 skill points for free, which is much cheaper than having to train them one by one for money. This is because unless I get level 4 with the Baron and Weirdstone, I will not be able to get my other hero marksman to the 2nd level. The 4th level reputation comes with skill increase books, which I really need. Speed leveling the ogre means all gills go to him. On a decisive victory that can be 13 experience per battle. The next act went completely wrong. The idea is to kill Merca, a powerful sorceress that buffs a city part with arcane overload and holds a few Sisters of Sigmar in prison. I know the mission and it's not overly hard if you can free the girls and dismantle one of the statues so they can cast spells without killing themselves. Merca has insane armor absorption and your melee attacks will do max 5 damage. Worse than that, my team is split up in 4 groups, so I have to get them together in full haste. Merca just usually messes around in the middle and is relatively safe to go around, but can hurt prisoners if in the line of sight. My luck was this time she charged towards us in about round 3 after I moved one of the prisoners in her line of sight. This causes me to be instantly engaged with only a portion of my warband. Luckily it does include Luther and my ogre, but she does terrible damage. My hero marksman is the only one that does over 10 damage and his headshots are gold, but this mission is nearly doomed to fail. I grind her slowly to death with the help of oil bombs and my warrior henchman is totally gold again, parrying and taking countless of her attacks. My ogre takes a lot more damage and I worry, but he survives the fight. The rest is not overly hard and I complete the mission without any out of action. I thought it was a good idea to do another brutal mission. While picking a safe mission, normally a safe mission that is, I got a special event where I got ambushed due my scouts failed to spot the enemy. My Lad Got Talent marksman got focused hard and I initially wanted to place another marksman near him so he would survive the all alone test and be fine. but I thought he would be fine. Of course, all my marksmen have maxed out leadership except him, which caused him to fail the test. The hits he got from fleeing, he barely survived. Luckily he fled into a secure room, and when my people could react, I put all my marksmen on a secure point, blocked the entry with my warrior, and my boss I sent after the hero to secure his position. And a wise choice it was as well, as they went after him, but couldn't get to him. The only one left was my ogre, which had to hold out a few turns while my ranged team took out the enemy. As the enemy leader, Impressive and Hero were fighting a neutral monster. I even managed to fall back further and complete the bonus mission. Another stroke of luck was 0 injured and a whole bunch of great loot. About looting, very important. Loot every enemy if possible the same turn. Each turn loot will disappear. When you see the message, out of action warriors have left the battlefield, I left one spear in the enemy hero corpse and it was gone the next turn, which happens a lot. In other cases, I would delay someone to be able to loot if the need arises, to ensure all the loot, especially on heroes and leaders. The next brutal match proved again, I had plenty of melee damage if I needed to, when another Sister of Sigmar Impressive, again immune to my ranged, and my nemesis Bane, climbed up, got stunned by my smuggler White Trap, and was killed before being able to go. Also due to the fact that my smuggler has faster initiative after fighting. In the same match, an ungodly amount of bad luck happened as my smuggler got ambushed by an enemy hero. I decided not to get counterattacked, but go in dodge chance, which was 95%, and so I could counterattack instead. But she must have had the best dodge bypass skills on earth, as all 5 attacks connected. After that, all but one sniper shot missed, so I had to get another round of beating, stunning, and nearly costing my smuggler's life. Since she had open wounds and I used my only poultice that match before to save my hero's marksman, her open wounds were very worrisome. Luckily all the shipments gave me over 3000 gold, so I could spend some time paying for the final wave of skill upgrades. Money is no problem anymore. Campaign 3 of Act 2 started out pretty well. I thought it'd be a good idea to invade from the back, as there was a passageway on the side. I scouted a demonette with my personal dramatis and set up a little ambush. The White Trap did trigger but didn't stun, but she just charmed the smuggler. Luther stunned her and we could finish that one off without taking any damage. Then my ogre couldn't get there, so he was still in the front, alone initially, but since it would take a long time for my henchman and warrior to get there, I decided to keep them there as well. The henchman got charmed by a second demonette, which attacked from the front, but also got stunned when she attacked my ogre. My ogre killed her with 3 counterattacks and 4 normal attacks, because one of the first attacks stunned that demonette as well. Seems like they have a weakness there. 2 demonettes for 110 health lost on my ogre seems like a very good trade-off. It will take about 3 turns before the hypnotic allure is gone, but I have time to loot the back room, which include the parlor key. The middle room is covered in fumes of passion, which makes it impossible to hit allures on the top of the stage. Luther tanking the ads is very easy as they have terrible hit chance because they are in the fumes too, but a third demoness walks over the trap I set and does a lot of damage to my smuggler. Which, well, if the game cheats I'll take it, after that I kill her instantly. It quickly went downhill after that. I never did the mission since I never played Mercs this far, so I didn't know that the Allures was going to respawn. Worse could react instantly next turn. I moved 2 marksmen in to loot, and she came back and it was a slaughter. I needed to get 5 corrupted wage stones to ensure she died for good, and I rushed Luther and my captain in to save the marksman, but within the fumes of passion you cannot hit very well. Even my captain died in the process. While I fend out the remaining troops to get the rest of the wage stones, only after the 3rd respawn I had her engaged to my ogre, so I had time to loot the corpses within the room and get the last corrupted wage stone while finally smashing her for good. I was lucky, nobody perma-died, but this was highly unnecessary. Plus my captain got megalomania, which means it cannot use ranged anymore, which is quite annoying. You have to kill her twice, don't get me wrong, to trigger the corrupted wagestone part, but I was on a perfect position to do so. Moral of this is, never put your marksmen in harm's way or move them forward before the area is secured and you have melee around them to protect them. Luckily I could invest into a new hired sword marksman, which means I can replace the marksman that needs to rest a bit. I could also level up the level 1, but at this point I rather not bring low levels to a fight. How easy matches become I will show you in this one. If you got an elevated position and all your troops are ready, you can now much more easily stun enemies, especially if everyone has between 15 to 20% crit chance, not to mention the headshots from your hero marksman. Even bosses will be one shot, and then the impressive finishing them off. If you loot the enemies the same turn, you let them do the Weirdstone gathering and run home with a lot of epic loot, potentially without taking any damage. I could only hit once in this entire mission. For higher level matches you can make up 1000 gold each match easily, if you sell everything and you include the value of the Weirdstones. At this point all my marksmen have either a rare or epic gun. What's supposed to be a reason to celebrate became a beacon of despair when Reichwald Sommer, my very precious henchman warrior tank, got taken out by an epic stroke of bad luck. When the enemy impressive come close I simply had to do nothing but wait, but I thought I'd be able to kill it in one hit with my impressive. My own white trap triggered, stunning only my impressive, and for the decently legit reason of protecting my stunned impressive, my brain decided to send in my warrior. He got stunned by the first counterattack, and then the impressive was first in turn order for the next round. 4 crits will take him out, which it didn't, because not all of them were crits, but a nasty necromancer managed to take him out with a lucky shot, which had to be a horrible chance to hit, do it nearly had to shoot through the enemy impressive. Lesson is, all I had to do was not attack, which I did. This is because of something very important. When an enemy has offensive points, it can counterattack, which makes ambush incredibly powerful. If I were to ambush an enemy, it will attack me, but I can counterattack each time. If my turn then comes, it cannot counterattack me if he was before me in turn order, as he already used his offensive points, or of course he can if he is after me in turn order, but then he can't attack himself anymore. But usually you would have 2 or 3 free counterattacks and then also do your turn attacks, since when using ambush and Overwatch stance you always prepare your offensive points to use them in the next round, which essentially means you have double offensive points that round, if either stance triggers. If I wouldn't have attacked with my warrior, the enemy wouldn't have counterattacked me and stunned me, and I could prepare a parry or a dodge stance to reduce the impact of the next round's attacks. The warrior survived, but it was missing an eye, which means minus hit chance of 10%, but he is a bit faster now. The Warband being level 10 really doesn't give me much more than the previous level, but it does give me nice stats. 53 matches done to get to level 10, of which 35 tactical. And someone may be able to help here, as the math doesn't math for me. Tactical should be the enemy routing, which were all of my matches, except the 7X campaigns, which would be 46. It also shouldn't be decisive victories, as I think I have maybe only 60% where I made the bonus objective. If it were decisive victories of the 46 normal campaigns, over 70% would have been completing the bonus objective. I guess it could be. 25 times I had someone fall out of action, which is mainly in the acts of course, and 3 times I lost someone permanently, which seems to have a bit lower chance to happen in the X campaign than in the normal campaigns, but overall they don't die that easily. I never lost a battle, not even a campaign, which is quite the accomplishment since I did many campaigns in Act 2 for the first time, and needlessly to say, there is only one thing left to do. The final campaign.
The Baron wants to impress his guests.
The final mission was very vibrant. Maybe all the bright green asset pools gave the map a friendly atmosphere, but also the fog seemed to be less dense. Indeed a beautiful map. The goal was to murder a manticore, and it was one of the easiest acts for my composition. First I took out a group of damned guys and 3 jailers, and I barely had to leave the area of the tower which I spawned near. Without taking much damage, except from stepping into acid way too many times, I cleared them out. At the very start I was offered to place the manticore lure already, and I did deduce already that everything would be hostile to it, but I didn't want to engage with that looter, so I freed him first. After stepping into more acid to get the corrupted Weirdstone, yes I know, you're supposed to place the planks to not take acid damage, but if it only does 15 damage, I'm not going to take the effort of finding the wooden planks. Anyway, after that I hold back up on the tower, melee included, and summoned the manticore. It did spit a bit, but not much damage, but it has an insane health pool of over 2000 health. As I rained bullets on the manticore, I quickly realized that all I had to do was step out of sight to not get acid spot in the face. With every single one of my units unreachable for the Manticore, it attacked reinforcements of the enemy, which gave me a lot of free turns to lower its health bar. A brave enemy it was, as it held out longer than expected, but when it died the Manticore flew off, and I was unable to find it. I thought it may have bugged, but again my deduction skill simply decided to put some melees very prominently in line of sight. And well enough it flew back to the ground, where I could observe its innards both before and after I took it out. This entire campaign helped me get my veteran level from level 9 to level 11 as well, so future warbands will be easier now. I hope you guys learned something as well. Human mercenaries are definitely a match for any other type of warband. The Sisters of Sigmar impressive may be immune to ranged, and guns may be hard to come by early on, but other impressives have reduced ranged resistance and can easily be stunned. Even the overpowered undead were absolutely decimated by my Janissaries. I hope you enjoyed the video, and check out the beginner's guide if you didn't already, while I start thinking of a new warband. Oh, and maybe I will also do one mission to get the impressive to level 10 to get a little bit more veteran points. Thank you for watching.